So today we have to talk about a very interesting game that happened between 100 Thieves and Sentinels here on Bind. And this one was really interesting for a couple of reasons, right? 100 Thieves played Bind an absolute ton in 2024 and found a lot of success on Bind in 2024. A part of their success was on the defensive side. What they would do is go for a lot of aggressive reclears. This is when you've lost a bit of control on a map and you decide as a team normally to group up maybe 3 players, throw a bunch of utility into that space and, you know, win back that space and potentially get a couple kills along the way. And 100 Thieves were really, really good at these reclears, and it was a main part of their defensive game plan. Well, they've come into 2025, and they're doing largely the same thing. They're still largely playing the same comp and whatnot, but of course they're playing against Sentinels, and Sentinels have Bang, who was on that 100 Thieves team last year, right? He knows all of this. He knows their playbook inside and out, and so what happened next was a very, very interesting chess match between 100 Thieves and Sentinels. Because the thing is, 100 Thieves at the start of this game decided not to go for some aggressive reclears and instead actually just decided to play pretty passively, right? So you can see here from Sentinels, look at them, right? They are in pairs, right? At least, so we've got paired up here, you know, we're in safe positions here. They are waiting, this is the bonus round here, round number 3. They are waiting for 100 Thieves to do something. Right, they're just sitting there for the first 30 seconds of the round, basically just waiting to see if 100 Thieves, you know, want to do something aggressive, want to go for something early on aggressive. They don't, right? And so they're just waiting here, Sentinels, waiting, right? It's super slow, super slow, super methodical, all of that. We do get Narrate here, who in a second is just going to go crazy and get this kill, right? We got a little bait set up here from Sentinels, from 100 Thieves, sorry, but it doesn't really pan out, right? But you can see that we aren't getting that reclear, right? Like there is no reclear on their cards. You know, 100 Thieves are just sitting deep. It's a really good kill by Narrate there, right? But just watch, because you can tell that Sentinels are going to get a little confused about what round they want to be in next, because this is the thing. They're expecting some kind of reaction, right? They waited that first, you know, minute of the round or whatever, you know, not doing too much. And so what their plan was this, right? This was Sentinel's plan, right? We're going to take it slow, take kind of easy round, whatever. Then we're going to pressure, like we're going to do an exec, like it seems here, right? We're grouping up, we're coming over towards A. We're going to pressure this, and then we're going to TP, right? So we're hoping to get these rotates across, to get these guys thinking about either trying to defend this or trying to reclear this if it's earlier on in the round. And then we're just going to insert someone over the other side of the map. We're going to just TP to them, right? And then we're just going to go to this side instead, right? So we're hoping to get the flood across from 100 Thieves over here. Then we're just going to quickly TP, come over here as we've inserted someone else, right? So that was their game plan. But as you can see, 100 Thieves weren't going super aggro, right? They were staying mostly in their lanes. And so what happened was Sentinels ran into some early problems.
Europe last year, despite being from America, was a standout in challengers.
Cryo calmly steps back from the battleship's worth of ordnance being thrown at him, and here's Arsena. Still found a way to be relevant in this round with a TP plunge for Boostio.
That's the spike. The spike is down.
He digs in with the ghost and is able to cut us down already 4 seconds in the round. Bang doesn't think he's still there, but he was waiting. Zekin though, oh, Zekin gets the shot down, but guess what, buddy?
And so Sentinels did struggle early on, because if we take a look at the very next round, for instance, as well, what you'll see here is, again, that Sentinels are essentially just kind of waiting. Right, look, they're waiting for anything aggressive. They're waiting for some kind of reclear. They don't want to be caught out on their own, right? We're playing in a kind of very tight-knit group. You know, everyone's in pairs or in a very safe position. That's what we're doing. We're waiting for some aggression to come out early in the round. But 100 Thieves, we're just sitting there, right? We're just basically letting them bleed off the clock and not doing anything, right? And what that means is, as Sentinels are sitting there, yeah, they're going to try this exec, but now you're going to see that time can become a bit of an issue as well, right? You start to get a lot of plant denial because we're not baiting out any of this util, because for the first 40 seconds, we're just sitting there not doing much, right? And 100 Thieves aren't doing much, so they're not wasting their util. So as they come in onto the site here, Sentinels, you can see we're getting plant denial, right? We're getting plant denial, and Sen are like a bit stuck. They don't really know what to do. They feel like they have to push deep site, but they don't have the util there, as you see, to push deep site. And so it just ended up not going so well for Sentinels in these early rounds.
Second line, and what a haunt ping! Arsena once more, and Zelsus is the deer in the headlights as the showstopper comes in.
The utility is just so oppressive right now. Arsenal on the swing and gets the 4th.
So yeah, this kind of plant denial style is amazing from 100 Thieves and shows that they, have really mastered this. Because as I said, you see we get the molly there, you get the blast pack in there, kind of stopping this first wave. Like, you can't plant now, right? So Zekken feels like, okay, they're denying this plant, we have to do something, right? We have to push. But the thing is, Zen have no util, right? They've got no util to do this push. They've just used it all to kind of take the first part of the site. Right, they've used it to, push them out of lamps and kind of, clear everything else of this front part of the site. So they just don't have the util to actually do this and go and push deep. Right, it's just not there for them. It's not an available plan, but they probably feel like somewhat they kind of have to. Right, then we get a fantastic haunt from EU coming from deep in CT. Aston obviously results, but then again, as I said, he's still got a nade available. Right, so we're still getting more delayed. There's no chance of a spike going down. This is a cross the map molly line up here. You can see from Xander, he's all the way across the map. He still gets a molly perfectly again because they just hadn't baited anything out because they were playing so slow. So then Sentinels took a timeout and decided that their plan wasn't working and to just go in the complete opposite direction.
In terms of a little cheeky plan here before we get into the real plan with the big buy on the following round.
Might have to be a fast play into Lambs with a bucky, I think. Yep, Zelsis just gets his head ripped off. Gets a free haircut, but the inverse Mohawk probably isn't what he wanted. Arsenal has to watch out. Shotgun on the right side. John QT hits him with a big iron. And that's that Lambs control, and plant down for Sen. Zekken has earned a showstopper to boot.
That Prowler is going to come in really handy to try to re-clear lamps. But actually, EU's rotating over towards Heaven, wants to pick that angle up.
Here's that showstopper now, coming out of Lamps. Zekken threatening. Busio here, letting Wingman go to work now. It's going to get that to half at least, but John steps up, brings him down. That's half. 3 players left to work with for 100 Thieves, and Cryo's well-laid plans fall apart, and Ray's able to shut Xander down with nothing but a classic. And I think even for EU, even for someone who's been dominant, this would be too much.
No. But then the chess match continued because after Sentinels won a couple rounds, we got to round 8. 100 Thieves had taken a timeout by this point, and now after conditioning Sentinels that they were just going to play, this kind of like a pretty passive stance, they decided not to. Right, they decided to flip on their head, right, and go back to kind of what perhaps Sentinels were expecting. Because you see here, we were aggressive in showers early round. We got this double up towards long. We're kind of looking for opportunities. You see the rotate's going to come in here, and now Sentinels are here, right? They're here, and they're going to be waiting now, just outside towards long. They're thinking like, oh, can we contact up, right? Because 100 Thieves, hey, they've been really passive this entire game. Maybe we can, even just walk in onto the site here, catch them unawares, right? But what's going to happen, you're going to see, is after this Viper Wall goes up, now 100 Thieves start to formulate kind of a classic 100 Thieves plan, where now they're going to go for this re-clear on this area, as I say.
Here's the Thrash. Can they make a play off this now very quickly? Senna trying to get on out. Zekken backs down this.
But that's the thing, Sentinels, this was part of their original game plan as well for 100 Thieves, so they were ready for this kind of thing, right? This is what they were expecting the entire game. It just didn't come until like round 8. But you see that Sentinels are able to deal with it very, very well, right? Even though, there's a Gecko ult and there's a Raise Nade and there's, all this utility being thrown at them, Sentinels managed to get out, right? They just completely avoid it. They do well. They have to use some of their own util, but they just avoid it very well. So what happens next? Well, 100 Thieves say, okay, you managed to counter that little gambit. You've dodged one re-clear. What about a second re-clear?
Against 100 Thieves playstyle, draw the trap out and then re-hit later on. All the while bang towards him, running forward. Arsenal with the showstopper again. 2 for 2.
Gets himself Zekken and now sent. Packing over towards his A side of Sentinels. Going to be clearing the way out of showers. 100 Thieves do have that storm utility. They've got to hold this position though, and Bang could unravel it. They're fighting for it. Zelsis knows he can't afford to have mollies thrown at the side as they're getting a plant down. But Cryo, unshiftable here from Lamps. Eventually Zelsis deals with him the good old-fashioned way. Dizzy neutralized as is Busio. And now we got a 2v1. Still no plant. Xander's shoulder pick reveals Zelsis. He has to take the shot, and with 12 seconds left, it is a tough ask to stick a plant. 2 fakes. Xander not drawn out of position. That guy is far too canny for it. And in the dying seconds, he gets off it. Zelsis now set for 4 for a clutch.
So yeah, from this, we kind of see what Sentinel's original plan was come to fruition, right? Where they do get re-cleared after this Raze ult here, and they do end up dying, unfortunately. But this was their initial plan, right? Their initial plan was to use the teleports, right? Bait out this re-clear, TP and then go and hit the other side. Now, unfortunately for them, this time, you know, their duelist dies, right? So this takes away kind of, you know, some of the thrust that they might have otherwise had. And you see that they kind of get a bit bogged down here. And again, kind of feel like, oh, we need to make a play, right? We need to do something. We need to maybe, you know, just push through here. You see that, again, they don't really have the util with it, you know, to necessarily do that because they'd been trying to counter the reclear. And 100 Thieves deal with it pretty well. And as you saw, end up winning the round. So again, we ended up in kind of the initial plans after, you know, the plans had all got mixed up at the start of the half. And so we ended up in this close back and forth game, but Sentinels were eventually able to kind of find a little bit of an edge by using their ults. And in this game, the ults were very, very important. You just saw the Gecko ult in the last kind of reclear. Well, in this one, Zekken has his Erase ult, which just gives them a level of security. Because as we watch this round, right, what I want you to watch is as Sentinels are going to just come here for a B exec, right, they're going to drone through Hooker here. The other three are going to go down B long. What I want you to notice here is just look at how deep Zekken is going to pop this Raze ult, right? Because in just a second, he's about to come through B long and pop his Raze ult just here, right? This is super deep to be popping your Raze ult, right? Normally you want to be like up here in garden and you're Raze ulting onto the site, right? But what Raze ulting from here does is it means that they ain't gonna reclear. If their plan is now to reclear, well, they're not going to, right? Because you've got a Raze ult. So anyone trying to push forward, you're just gonna kill straight away with the Raze ult, right? So by Raze ulting super deep, we're basically able to get the B exec that we want. And then you look at Sentinel's comp as well, right? This, with the Tejo in there as well, right? They played quite a bit of Tejo. This is a floor is lava comp, right? With the mosh pit, a Brim Molly, Tejo, Raze, Viper, right? This is a floor is lava. You can't go anywhere. And as you'll see, they're going to use that to clear the site.
We go. It's time for Zekken. It's kind of body block there. Awkward, but John's going to be able to dig Arsena out. Zekken doesn't fully commit, though. Just pops up, playing on top of the stim beacon. And yeah, send that rocket away. Still send. No, they need to walk up on this site, and Zekken is going to be at the 4. All that util getting thrown down, covering the site, meaning Sentinels are in there.
The question is, do 100T's try to flood right now off the top?
Yep, 3 players sat inside elbows. Zelsus has a sense about it. He's also got an orbital strike. That could be devastating here for 100T's who are grouped for this. Okay, in goes Wingman. Zekken clears him. Now 100T's are inching up in elbow, getting closer, but still no flood. Cryo going to be held at bay. This might slow things down even further. There's the horn. Here's the play. Zekken sees him as the smoke comes down. It's Boostio picked off, and then he backs away. It's a second for John now, as Narrate wants to get his hands dirty. He gets involved. Xana found 2, but that's all he could ask for. And EU really doesn't have a hope in hell. That's a clean round from Sen. And they'll have his gun too.